The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
Here at the NWCA convention in Daytona Beach, Florida, which I think is, they say, the world's most popular beach. I don't know.
Yeah, the funny you say that. When we were driving in, I saw that sign again. I'm like, no way.
No, it's definitely, I think it's Lauderdale. Although this is the birthplace of NASCAR, which translated means drive fast, turn left.
Yes, of course.
And if you haven't figured this out, we are with New York's finest, Dennis Papadatos.
Thank you. Long Island's finest.
Yes, Long Island. Suffolk County or Nassau County?
I'm a Nassau County boy.
Okay, so we had that discussion earlier with Joe Savino about Nassau and Suffolk.
He beat a kid from my high school in the state finals. He wasn't, I guess, there were kids at the time, but in the county finals, he beat a kid from Island Trees in the finals.
Island Trees. What a cool name.
Yeah, it was definitely cool, man.
Yeah, that means something else in different places, part of the world.
Anyway,
we don't go into the. We'll not talk about that particular discussion. So, if you haven't guessed, Dennis Papadatos is our guest. We were just talking here at the convention that the last time he was on the show was basically the day you got hired at Hofstra.
Wasn't even announced yet.
Yeah, it was basically waiting for the press release. And it's like we recorded it before it was announced, and then released it as soon as the press release came out. Jim Sheehan was a big fan of that.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure.
Your SID, former SID of the year for the National Wrestling Media Association.
Yes.
So Dennis is giving me a hard time that the last time he'd been on the show was 4 years ago. It's the last time I was at the convention. So, Dennis, 1, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
2, congratulations on your first AllAmerican as a head coach. You've had several as an assistant.
Yes.
And so first things first, why do you come to the NWCA convention as a Division I coach?
I actually just was talking to someone else about that. I come because, you build a brotherhood, and, and I've used the same names again, but, I wrestled at Hofstra for Tom Ryan. And then obviously me and Pat were at Binghamton together, Papa Lizio. So they're my buddies, and I talk to them all the time, and they're your family, but you don't see each other. I'm in Long Island. He's in North Carolina. My wife and kids are in North Carolina right now. We actually visited Pat a few days ago before we came here. And I'm going to Tom Ryan's son's wedding in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? But you don't see each other.
It's going to make you feel old.
Yeah, 100%. His son's getting married. I held him when he was a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you come because I want to be with, we get together, we have fun, and then you sit down, and I thought Joe Savino did a great job. I took down a bunch of notes and just little tidbits that you can use, and your mind starts turning like, how can I use that in what we're going to do? How can I use that in my program? How can I use that? He'll tell one story, and you're like, I got a perfect guy that's going to help motivate. I think, you know what I mean? And so you think that stuff doesn't matter, but then you come here and you're like, here's the truth. It's a long, it can be a long weekend. We get busy. We're doing stuff. But if you get one piece of information that took 10 seconds to get that you wouldn't have got if you weren't here, and that helps one person be an All-American, was it worth being here? Yes. So, that's why you come, because you pick up the little things. Overall, it's a lot of hanging out, camaraderie. You get to see some of the sponsors and the
vendors here. So we're in the main hallway outside of all the rooms. So I actually have a table this year. I feel kind of important.
So, proud of you.
Yeah, I'm finally. I did it. I'm a grown up.
I know. I remember you back in the day.
Yeah, it was. Let's
the
not
CAA
talk.
days.
Oh, back in the. Let's even talk about the CAA.
Yeah, CAA days.
Maybe we will talk about the CAA after this, because I've always had a problem with the seating back in that old conference.
No,
but that's
crazy.
Tom was part of that problem.
Yes.
But anyway,
yes.
So you got All-American last year.
Yep.
Michael Huge,
yeah,
big guy.
Yeah, he's down 25 pounds.
What did he do? Drop a sandwich?
No, as I told people, he tried really hard to be the biggest heavyweight in the country. He would eat 8,000 calories a day.
How does he try? How does one aspire to be bigger than Sam Stoll?
Because he just wanted to be huge. He felt like that's what he needed to do to win, and he was adamant about it. And he's like, I'm going to be the biggest, strongest heavyweight in the country. That's going to be my thing. And he did it. And he did it. I used to have arguments with refs. I had some refs I'm like, you got to hit that bottom guy for stalling. He's like, well, coach, your guy is just too big. I'm like, listen.
The guy's 900. Yeah, well, there's a weight limit.
You're
within the weight class.
I'm like, that guy can weight at 285 too. He can do it if he wants to. He's just not as committed as Mike Hughes is. He's not, and so it used to bother me. But it worked out. Mike had the most pins in the country too. He had the most wins in the nation 2 years ago.
One question I did have as far as I was as an upper weight when I started wrestling, and my coach taught me like a little guy. So when you're at the college level, how much of your day is maybe technical? How do you work technique with a guy that's twice your size?
We game plan more than technique because I couldn't wrestle him.
You're about as big as his leg.
Yeah, he crushed
and
me.
You're not a small
No,
guy.
and he crushed me, man. So I wouldn't wrestle him. I handfuled him a lot. We double teamed them and triple teamed them as coaches just to get them really, really tired. And then imported partners and obviously use our team. But it was more game plan strategy. Obviously technique involved, like part of the game plan was technically, hey, we're going to get to this. We're going to pull on his head. When you get to the single, that's how I want us to finish it. But it was more strategy, if that makes sense on this is what we're going to do. And he was so coachable. He listened, man. He really, really, really listened. So he spent a lot of time strategizing on who he's wrestling. And also, okay, there were certain things we strategized on. I don't care who you're wrestling. We're going to do this. We are forcing this on whoever it is. Fill in the blank. King Kong, Cal Snyder, no matter who we're wrestling.
They're one and the same, by the way.
Yes.
Because even though Hughes is bigger than Snyder's still King Kong.
Yeah, he is.
All right. As far as the vindication of getting Hughes on the stand, took the red shirt, came back. It was still a loaded weight class.
Yes.
I mean, it was a very good weight. It hollows out next year. You're thinking, man, if he had one more year, you're like, man, look at your chops. But what did it mean for you? What did it mean for the program to get back on the podium?
It was important. It's what you aspire to. You aspired for All-Americans and national champs. And as I tell the guys, we're going to focus on making All-Americans and national champs. And if you have a bunch of those, you're going to win your dual meets. You know what I mean? So let's focus on making All-Americans and national champs. So, it just brings credibility back. Like, hey, guys, we hung up another one on the wall. We hung up his plaque already. You know what I mean? So now guys come in and be like, look at this. He's right here. He just did it in front of your eyes. It's possible to be done here again. The quote I kept using, he's not our first All-American. He's not our 8th All-American. He's Hofstra's 30th. We've had 30. We've had multiple ones.
This reminds me, we're going to have to play some trivia when we're done. Keep going. I've got to look something up. It just brings that back. It's been 7 years, I think. So it's just, you got to keep it going. It just brings that belief and like, all right, we can do it. I saw him do it. I'm going to do it too. Type of philosophy. So it is as important as anything's ever been. One thing, you've never been an excuse guy.
Never.
But
I don't like it.
Hofstra has some program limitations.
Yes.
Explain what that is, specifically so people that, there are some critics out there.
Yeah.
Usually that one jackhole, but we won't even talk about him.
Yeah.
But there are some critics out there that expect, the current situation to be like it was when Tom Ryan was coaching.
Yes, yeah.
The dynamic has changed. They've dropped football in the meantime. So what is the situation like at Hofstra for you as a head coach?
The dynamic changed on one, as the main thing you're alluding to is we have a 20-man roster cap. I actually just got it to 21, just so you're aware. That just happened a few weeks ago.
Okay, and that is and if you're a normal sport, you got 2 per weight.
Yes.
Doesn't work like that in wrestling.
Well, as I explained to people, the next smallest roster cap is 26, I believe.
Yeah, Northwestern's got a low one.
Yeah. Northwestern does as well. The national average in our sport is 32. There's teams in our conference like Naval Academy that have 58. They're in my conference. I have 20. They have 58. You know what I mean? Think about that. And it's practice partners. It's having other people to put in there. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's harder to develop guys when you have less people to help them be developed. So, forget just not having someone in. Obviously we have a roster cap limitation. We're a mid-major private institution, which, financially those institutions are having trouble. Mm-hmm. So my budget is not the same that even when Tom Schiffer or Tom Ryan were there. Our academic prowess has increased, so it is more difficult to get kids in the school, but you got to use that to your advantage. Now we have we compete, we have a higher starting salary, we're getting better students in, so now you just have to change your recruiting dynamic, and that's fine. And you got to get creative with the roster, and I obviously battle to get the roster up, and fundraising goals are higher than they've ever been. You know what I mean? So a lot of my time gets away from coaching wrestling into fundraising. So if you got some funds, give me a call because I'd like to coach some more wrestling.
Now, as we look at that, you've got the roster cap, but you also made a point. You didn't forfeit a single weight class.
0. In
a dual meet all year. How do you do that with just 20 guys? Because since you've been a coach, you've had the injury bug bite you pretty hard.
Yeah. For sure. The year before that, we had 11 guys between the guys. I chose to redshirt 7. That was my decision. You know what I mean? Mike Hughes being one of them. And we only forfeited
weight twice because we had no choice. We had no one to put in there. This year we had 20. One guy, left 19. One guy got hurt 18 for the year. Two guys redshirted. 16 guys. So we had 16 guys for the 10 weights, and we just made it a mission. 125-pounder that I made it very clear that we are not forfeiting. We are wrestling no matter what. It's just how we do about it. And the guys, kind of bought into it. And that's kind of what you do is I wanted to prove a point. Like, when other people before, I just don't understand when people forfeit. Like if I don't have to forfeit, you don't have to forfeit. Like, you got to have someone to put in there. Grab them off the street and put them in there. So, and I just think it's not good for our sport to have, we say we don't want empty stands, but then we have empty weight classes. Like, come on, man.
Kevin Dresser literally went out on the street and found a 25 pounder this year.
Yes.
I think he was working at 7-Eleven or something. I don't even know, Come and Go or something. They don't have 7-Elevens in Iowa.
Hey, you got to hustle. And that's it. So
this brings up a question that's been a topic. We brought it up in the board meeting yesterday about the football rule about 4 dates to compete and keep your red shirt. To me, that seems like a no-brainer for a sport like wrestling. Now, how much would that type of rule impact you?
I'm a huge advocate of it, and
obviously,
Kerry Cole Campbell is one of the main guys that's been preaching that. I'm pretty good. Actually, I was with Kerry. Kerry actually drove me to the airport here. For me, it'd be huge just to have 4.
We're shaking hands and kissing babies.
They talk about 4. I think 4 would be perfect. Now you can redshirt guys. I think it brings a good dynamic, just an opportunity of guys can still be redshirt and be developed, and you can pick and choose the 4 dates. I think 4 is a good number. I thought they're talking about 33%. I think that's a little much.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
My theory
25%. I like 25%.
I like the 4 because you've got, 16 dates?
Yes.
But no tournaments because you can already enter tournaments unattached anyway.
That's not a bad.
I'd say it's four dual meets.
Exactly.
And because we don't have a dual meet championship, it doesn't matter if there's no postseason, obviously.
Because we don't need you for the Vegas invite. Not that we don't need you.
Well, because that's also one wrestler per weight anyway.
Yes.
So
But
I don't think you should be. I mean, you can wrestle an open tournament unattached anyway and get your
100%.
matches. So so I like we plug in because how many times have you've got a guy? Not you. You're probably a bad example because you're roster captain.
Yeah,
There's a guy that's a workout partner.
Yeah.
That's really probably not going to be with the program in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
He's a guy. He's a room guy. He's going to keep your APR up because if he leaves the team, he's going to stay eligible and stay at school.
Of course.
Looking at okay, you're not going to forfeit the weight. Well, this guy, we redshirt. He's never going to see the lineup for you. Why not give him that experience of getting decked in his only college match?
I mean,
what's worse? I mean, you can always not get pinned.
Yeah, of course. Those are the guys that come back and give the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
Like Moyer even says, Mike Moyer's got a lot of buzzwords, and he likes to use a lot of cliches with his speech over the years. But he says it's that 40th guy on your team. Well, in your case, your 20th guy or 21st guy.
I got 21.
It's going to be giving back to the program. It's not your number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the Mike Hughes, but maybe it's your Sage Heller or somebody that's eventually going to. Well, he's pretty good.
He's
pretty good.
Come on.
He's not number 40. He's not number 21. But you get the point.
I know what you're saying.
But to me, this again is a no-brainer. And from a college coach's standpoint, that's why you come here, because Anthony Holman from the NCAA is here.
Yeah.
And the Division II, Ryan Tressel, Division III, J.P. Williams, you got all those people here. So this is also a sounding board to get those legislations pushed through. So it is important for every coach to be here.
I think so. I come every year. Listen, you heard me talking about I don't got the same budget as many of those programs that are here, but we still spend the money to get here.
Right, and even with Division I, you're in a different world from Division II, Division III, the NAIA. There are some lessons that D1 coaches can learn from these other divisions. That's the Supplé guy going crazy with these bags.
Are you okay with that? Yeah.
Yeah. He just looks. Look at those pants, man. Those are awesome.
I know.
Americans can't wear that. He's Bulgarian.
You love Europeans.
Yes.
Anyway,
and it's got the Europe.
Yeah.
So what? For example, what can you as a Division I coach learn from, say, a Nick Mitchell at Grandview or a Pat Pecora at Pitt Johnstown?
What can I learn from them?
Right.
Well, first of all, Pat Pecora he's a legend. He's an unbelievable coach. Coaching. I keep talking about, coaching and success principles work in your marriage. They work in wrestling. They work in being a CEO of a company. So if you think I think you can learn from everyone. You can either learn from people that do everything wrong and on what to do, and you can work for people that are successful in whatever they choose to be successful in. You can take something from it. And if you can't, then you're probably going to limit your growth. And I'm going to argue to say you're probably not that successful. So I love those guys because now they're also not competitors because they're in a different whole division, league, whatever. So, I'll pick their brain for sure, listen to what they got to say and try to utilize something that works for them, see if I can, adapt it and make it work for Hofstra Wrestling.
All right, Dennis, we're going to play a little Hofstra All-American trivia right now. So
I know most of them.
Question 1.
I know all of them, but
first All-American in school history, Division I.
First All-American was it the national finalist? Not Joel Kislin. He was our first heavyweight. Oh my God! He lost to Dan Gable in the national finals. Oh my God! I was.
It's from Amityville.
And he was a two-time All-American
yes,
at 137. At 137,
yes,
he took fourth and second. Like I said, lost to Dan Gable.
You've got everything but his name.
Because my brain just went haywire. Because I keep going to Joel Kislin, who was the third All-American.
Okay, here's a slight hint. What's the first name of the coach at Ithaca?
Wait a minute, his last name?
First name. They have the same first name. The head coach at Ithaca's first name is the same first name as this guy.
My brain, hold on. Marty Willigan.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, God. I'm sorry about that. I knew it was Marty Willigan.
Now, your Joel Kislin thing was technically incorrect because it was not heavyweight. It was unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited.
Yeah, I'm going to get semantics there.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. The first national champ school history, that's easy.
Nicholas Gallo from Deer Park High School. Never won the state title either.
Okay, so there's a two-time All-American at 167. Whose son?
Pete Capone.
Yeah, I was going to say whose son. No, you got that
Pete
one.
Capone.
Tallest All-American in school history.
He also has the most career wins, which Mike Hughes would have broke if he redshirted as a true freshman and wrestled as a junior. But anyway.
Best guy at Hofstra never to win a national title.
Probably John Massa. That's hard. There's a bunch of good ones.
Griffin's,
yes,
he's another one.
I would say Charlie Griffin. I actually think Mike Patrovich, who's one of my assistant coaches. But probably John Massa was so talented. He was our only 3-time All-American, so that's why I went John Massa. But Charlie was right there. Charlie was ranked number 1. So was Lou Rigorello. But that's a hard one.
Lou tore people's arms off.
Yes.
Tore people's arms.
Like I said, I'm probably going to go with John Massa, though. I love Charlie. I'm probably going to go with John Massa.
Internationally, John Massa Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah, John Massa. He had 8 last names.
World Championships, was it 03, wrestled for Puerto Rico?
Yes, 03 at Madison Square Garden.
All right, and the hardest puncher in Hofstra wrestling history.
Well, Chris White.
I'm throwing in all your big alums here.
Yes.
So
yesterday was his wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary, Chris and Marivi.
All right, cool. So, Dennis, anything else to add here about the convention, Hofstra Wrestling? Anything you want to throw out there?
No, obviously, thanks for the support. You were alluding to. I don't read any of the message boards or anything. I'm pretty, happy with the direction of the program. My ADs are. I got years on my contract, so people are happy, and obviously, I'm happy. My wife's happy to be back home. As I tell people, I'm the local kid that. Got to be the head coach of his alma mater that happens to be in his backyard. And I was the head coach of the program that did all that while we were hosting the national tournament at Madison Square Garden. So I've come a long way. Not that I've done anything spectacular, but I'm appreciative of it. I'm appreciative of all the support. So what we need from everyone else is get in the stands. I find that if people want wrestling to be helped and people want wrestling to be fixed, get to the matches, every match, all your local matches. Because our administration, not Hofstra's, I'm talking about every administration in the company, cares about attendance. So get to the matches and the sport will grow.
The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. First time listening? Well, you can change that by going to mattalkonline.com/getshorttime to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or listen on your favorite podcatcher at mattalkonline.com/listen.
This show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to mattalkonline.com.